Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. Yesterday I made a video called Anything is Possible Repurposed, where we were looking at different buildings that were repurposed into temples. For example, the Provo City Center Temple used to be a tabernacle. And it seems like this upcoming temple in Brussels, Belgium, it seems like if you look at the thumbnail right here, there's a picture of like a commercial building. I think what they're going to do is they're going to repurpose that building into the temple. They may demolish it. I don't know. I didn't read any indication of that, but I think they're just going to repurpose it. And as we were talking about these different temples that came from repurposed buildings, we were also talking about multi-use buildings that include a temple on certain floors, and then on other floors, it's like a meeting house, a chapel, distribution center, stuff like that. And so we were talking about the Hong Kong China Temple and came across this tangent, which is big enough to make a separate video about, and that's what we're doing right now. Let me just read this part that led to this video. The Hong Kong China Temple was originally a multi-purpose building containing a meeting house, family history center, mission office, and apartments as envisioned and sketched by President Gordon B. Hinckley in the nighttime hours. So that's the key right there, and that's the tangent. I have that highlighted. I highlighted it to remind myself to make this video because on my quotes A through Z spreadsheet, where I have all these different topics, one of the topics on row 329 is revelation at night. This is something that I've noticed, every now and again as I've been doing this YouTube channel. It seems like there really is something to receiving revelation at night, both on the personal level, like just any member of the church, as well as the president of the church. And so what I have recorded here are different statements and experiences of prophets, also just the general concept of receiving revelation at night. For example, this quote that I'll never forget, it always stuck out to me ever since I heard it the first time, by Elder Richard G. Scott of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, where he talked about to like the general membership of the church to, be mindful of revelation that comes during the nighttime. And we're going to read that. We're going to do like a little review of like the main quotes that I have here. But first, let's talk about this this Gordon B. Hinckley experience with the Hong Kong China Temple. I have those recorded here at this point. I also have them recorded under Gordon B. Hinckley as well as Hong Kong China Temple. Okay, so let's go to my first thing here. This is from Church News. I guess this is part of the website where they just like have like a separate page for each temple, and it has like key facts and stuff like that. And we also have the picture that he sketched of how the Hong Kong China Temple was supposed to be. So we're going to look at that in just a minute. Okay, at the bottom of this article, under Architecture and Design of the Hong Kong Temple, it says, in July 1992, President Gordon B. Hinckley and others spent a day touring half a dozen possible sites for the temple, but every location was too small and overpriced. That night, there it is, that night, President Hinckley awoke with an inspired idea to demolish the Hong Kong mission home and office and a nearby chapel to construct a multi-purpose building. He then drew rough sketches for a building with the temple on the upper floors and other functions on the lower floors. Okay, so it says he woke up with an inspired idea and then he wrote it down. Okay, and then we have this. This was actually published in the Ensign. This is the December 2006 Ensign, How the Hong Kong Temple Came to Be, by Elder Monty J. Bro and Elder John K. Carmack of the 70, with black and white pictures in 2006. The group was exhausted from the rigorous day of prayerfully reviewing the various properties. President Hinckley retired to his hotel room and requested that Elders Bro and Carmack come back the next morning to further discuss the matter. It was apparent that the area presidency had yet to find a solution President Hinckley could accept. At about 6:45 a.m., President Hinckley called Elder Bro and requested that he and Elder Carmack come to his hotel room at 8 a.m. Brother Simons joined them there at the appointed time, and President Hinckley then shared on a sheet of white paper, which we're going to look at in a minute, a detailed drawing. During the night, he had envisioned a building of about 8 floors above ground, with the temple on the top floors and other functions housed in the lower floors. It included replacement facilities for the Kowloon Tong Chapel and the Hong Kong Mission Home and Office, since the new building would require that these existing buildings on side-by-side lots be demolished. This concept of multi-use, President Hinckley explained, would depart from tradition in that all other temples in the church at that time were standalone buildings. So it seems that the Hong Kong temple was the first that would be like a multi-purpose building, including a temple. Other ones are the Manhattan, New York temple. And then somebody in the comments had mentioned the Bangkok, Thailand temple. I haven't verified that as of right now. I do believe you when you say that, commenter. But here's a picture of it, and yeah, this is like one of these high-rise type buildings, and it would be hard to believe that all these floors would be just for the temple. So yeah, it seems pretty apparent that this is a multi-use building. I'm gonna have to keep track of those on the spreadsheet. I'm keeping track of repurposed buildings, as well as like extreme renovations, as is the case with the Ogden, Utah temple, and then what's going to be the Provo Rock Canyon temple, if I remember right, where they just like completely did away with the old design. Some of you in the comments had said with the Provo temple, it's like been demolished. I hadn't been sure about that until you said that in the comments, because I thought I read somewhere that they were going to try and save some of the like interior, but I guess that's not the case. I don't know if that's what they did with Ogden. If you know about that, put that in the comments. But and then the one other thing that I'm tracking is the Anchorage, Alaska temple, where they're gonna completely demolish the temple, and then in a different spot they're gonna construct a new Anchorage, Alaska temple. So in some people in the comments had said that they're going to have the smaller temple that's currently operating. It's going to continue to operate until the new one is complete, and then they're going to demolish the old one. So that's going to be kind of an interesting sight to have like two temples side by side so close together. That's probably the only time that I'm aware of where you've had that kind of situation, like two temples next to each other, even though one is under construction. That's just an interesting idea. So anyway, okay, so let's get back to this. So that's all that there is for the Ensign article. Now we're going to LDS Living, the revelation that became the Hong Kong temple, plus more amazing temple stories. We're not going to cover those other stories, but I'll put the link for this in the description box below, like I always do. Okay, this is number 2, Hong Kong China Temple, designed by revelation in the middle of the night. As a side note, so this article was published April 8th of 2016. So it's not like this was like a recent interview with President Hinckley. I don't know where LDS Living got this because there's no reference. I don't know how long they've been around. If they were the ones or somebody with them were the ones that like interviewed President Hinckley. So I don't know where this comes from. I trust it. It's just I couldn't find it anywhere else. I like to find the primary source, but this is the best that I have. So I'm going to save this for now on my spreadsheet, and hopefully this will turn up somewhere else. If you know where I can find this, like the primary source, then please let me know. When President Hinckley traveled to Hong Kong in 1992 to consider potential temple sites, he felt unsatisfied with all of them. Quote, "We looked at one after another after another. I became very discouraged. The sites were so tiny in some respects, and the cost of real estate is so high, many millions of dollars for a little piece of ground." End quote. One night, He retired with no clear understanding of how he should proceed on his assignment to find a temple location. But in the middle of the night, he awoke with an impression. Quote, something very interesting came into my mind. I did not hear a voice with my natural ears, but into my mind there came the voice of the Spirit. It said, why are you worried about this? You have a wonderful piece of property where the mission home and small chapel stand. They are in the very heart of Kowloon, in the location with the best transportation. Building a building of several stories, it can include a chapel and classrooms on the first 2 floors and a temple on the top 2 or 3 floors. I relaxed and went to sleep, end quote. And then President Hinckley continues, to me, it was inspiration. I drew the temple out, and I still have the little drawing that I made in my journal. This drawing is essentially the plan which we had for this temple. And it seems that now the church owns that drawing, and we're going to look at it, which is really cool because like now it's like a historical document, I guess you would say. So yeah, that's going to be in this next one here. So this is Deseret News, 11 fascinating images. Whoa, where'd it go? 11 fascinating images of Latter-day Saint artifacts. And this looks like a really good article. I just kind of went to the part about the Hong Kong temple, but it has the seer stone. Do you remember when this came out, when the church published this picture of the seer stone? It inspired me to get my own, not because I want to be a seer, but I just thought it'd be cool, just like a little connection to Joseph Smith. I looked it up, and it seems that this stone is called iron banded jasper. Iron banded jasper. And I have it here in it's in my desk. It's fun to, hold sometimes. But anyway, they have a picture of that. Lucy Mack Smith's 1830 Book of Mormon, Liberty Jail door, Joseph Smith handkerchief, Joseph Smith's Masonic apron, because we know that he was a Mason. And again, I talked about that in a recent video, how I think some of those things were preserved through Freemasonry and other institutions, but they've just been corrupted over time. That's my opinion. Okay, but number 9, Hong Kong temple sketch. In July 1992, President Gordon B. Hinckley was in Asia to select a site for the Hong Kong China Temple. After a discouraging day of not finding a site he felt good about, President Hinckley returned to his hotel and went to sleep. Between 2 and 3 a.m., inspiration came in a dream. So that's a new these are a couple new details. We have the time of night that it happened, 2 to 3 a.m., and then it was in a dream. All the other accounts, it just kind of says that like he woke up with and he had inspiration, but it wasn't clear if it was from a dream or not. And again, I wish I knew where these details were coming from. Like, we have it here in the Deseret News, but clearly President Hinckley, I don't know, maybe they like interviewed him and they had it on file, and then because this article is from 2021. I just want to know where I can get like the full story with all the details, if there is one. But okay, so between 2 and 3 a.m., inspiration came in a dream. He felt directed to use the property already owned by the church to build a multi-purpose structure. He found paper and sketched a design. Quote, if ever in my life I felt the inspiration of the Lord, it was with this building, President Hinckley later said. And that's pretty incredible. I guess that just shows you how important this concept was, and not just for the Hong Kong China Temple, but later for the Manhattan, New York Temple, as well as I guess the Bangkok, Thailand Temple. I think those are the only 3. Am I missing any? If there's any other multi-purpose temples, let me know. But I think those are the only 3. And this may become more common in the future. Well, yeah, then the Belgium, that's probably going to be a multi-purpose building. I already forgot the details of that story, so that is potentially the 4th. If I'm missing any, let me know. All right, and then it has a picture of the sketch, the one that President Hinckley kept in his journal, and now I think it's probably in the possession of the church. Let's take a closer look at this, like a zoomed in version. So here you have ground, right? Underneath, you have 2 levels for parking. On the ground floor, chapel and cultural hall. And then you have classrooms, offices, mission president's apartment, and temple president apartment. And then the next one up, area presidency offices, and then 3 area presidency apartments. And then on the next floor, yeah, it looks like these are 3 floors right here. So mechanical, and then the baptistry kind of like takes up, like 2 floors because you have the baptismal font that like goes down. Temple entrance and dressing rooms. And then on the top floor, ceiling rooms, celestial and endowment rooms. And then I don't know what this is up here, what this like dome type thing is. Let's take a look at the temple. It doesn't have anything like that. Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to represent. Maybe this is like the heavenly temple. No, this is probably like the land or something like that, like the plot of land. That would make more sense. Like maybe the temple's like on the corner right here, and this is just like the land that, I don't know. Let me know if you know what that is. But anyway, this is really, really cool. I love looking at stuff like this. There's a lot of things like this on the Joseph Smith Papers website, just like sketches. My favorite of which is the city of New Jerusalem and how it was supposed to be laid out, and I presume how it will be laid out in the future, and other things. We have the sketch for what the temple was and is supposed to be in New Jerusalem on the Joseph Smith Papers, but this is something akin to that. And like I said, with all these other temples that become like multi-purpose buildings, it all starts with this sketch right here. We don't know how many there's going to be, but I just think that's so cool. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's talk about some of these other quotes having to do with revelation at nighttime. So this is a review. It's been a while since I've read some of these. So the first one is from Brigham Young, Journal of Discourses, Volume 1, pages 351 to 352. He has caused us to forget everything we once knew before our spirits entered within this veil of flesh. For instance, it is like this. When we lie down to sleep, our minds are often as bright and active as the mind of an angel. And let me just say really quick, that's literally true, because modern science has verified that your brain is actually more active at night than it is during the day, which seems counterintuitive, but I don't know. It's just an interesting statement from him. Our minds are often as bright and active as the mind of an angel. At least they are as active as when our bodies are awake. They will range over the earth, visit distant friends, and for aught we know, the planets, and accomplish great feats. Do that which will enhance our happiness, increase to us every enjoyment of life, and prepare us for celestial glory. Look what he's talking about when he's referring to like sleep and possibly dreaming. There's always been like all these like various theories about dreams and sleep. You have some where it's like, well, actually, maybe we're living in the dream. Like we're living in the dream, and when we go to sleep, we're actually waking up. That of course is not true, but I would not be surprised to find out that there's more going on when we sleep than what we realize. And I feel like there's like a little hint of it right here. At the very least, we do have dreams, and dreams can contain revelation. I think there's I think there's a lot going on when it comes to dreams and sleep, more than what we know. That's just my opinion. But here, like I said, here's a little hint of that. They will range over the earth, visit distant friends, and for aught we know, the planets, which that's pretty wild, the planets, and accomplish great feats. Like what feats? What? I don't know. Do that which will enhance our happiness, increase to us every enjoyment of life, and prepare us for celestial glory. But when we awake in the morning, it is all gone from us. We have forgotten it. This illustration will explain, in part, the nature of the veil which is over the inhabitants of the earth. They have forgotten that they once knew. This is right. Were it different, where would be the trial of our faith? In a word, be it so, it is as it should be. All right. Then I have a bunch from Wilford Woodruff, and that's because I've copied over these accounts of these dreams that he had, where he had contact with, for example, Joseph Smith and Hiram Smith after they had passed away. This is before Wilford Woodruff became president of the church. But I have this recorded on my spreadsheet called Timeline, Visions, and Visitations. I have this account, 1844, and then 1865, where again he met Joseph Smith, both Joseph Smith Jr. and Sr., many apostles and others, and he saw and visited the temple in heaven. So these are dreams that he had. Okay, but let's see. Next, we have James E. Faust, second counselor in the first presidency. This is in the April 2003 General Conference. The talk is called "Dear Are the Sheep That Have Wandered." I believe there's a strong familial pull as the influence of beloved ancestors continues with us from the other side of the veil. As we get older, the pull from our parents and grandparents on the other side of the veil becomes stronger. Now that's interesting. I might have to put this under another category, like aging. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. Let me do a little note right here, aging. I'll do it after this video. As we get older, the pull from our parents and grandparents on the other side of the veil becomes stronger. It is a sweet experience when they visit us in our dreams. And I don't think that he's just saying, oh yeah, we tend to dream about them because we know that we're dying. We're going to see them soon. No, I think that they actually visit us, especially when it comes to family history work. There's so many accounts of that type of thing. Okay. And by the way, for everyone that's emailed me about President Nelson's, I don't know, I think it was like his great grandpa or great grandpa, where he like had a contact with the other side of the veil. I know about that story. I've covered it, but I'm going to go over it again so I can put it on this spreadsheet of visions and visitations. So I'm getting to that. If you sent me an email, I'm getting to that. Okay, now Richard G. Scott of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. This is that one that is just, this is so, I've never heard anyone say anything like this in the church. This is from the April 2012 General Conference, How to Obtain Revelation and Inspiration for Your Personal Life. There are some practical principles that enhance revelation. Okay, enhancing revelation. First, yielding to emotions such as anger or hurt or defensiveness will drive away the Holy Ghost. These emotions must be eliminated, or our chance of receiving revelation is slight. Another principle is to be cautious with humor. Loud, inappropriate laughter will offend the spirit. A good sense of humor helps revelation. Loud laughter does not. A sense of humor is an escape valve for the pressures of life. Let me just stop right there. I've always wondered, well, not so much recently, but when I was younger, I always wondered at what loud laughter means. And my understanding is that, and let me know if you have additional thoughts, but my understanding is that it's things like just inappropriate, like he says here, inappropriate laughter, like laughing at things that are, like potty humor, sex humor, things like that, things that are just degraded in nature, just things that are inappropriate. And like he says here, it is good to laugh and have humor, but at wholesome things. And it's not that it's bad to laugh really. It's making me laugh talking about this. It's not bad to like laugh really hard or loud. It's just, are you laughing at things that are irreverent and that's what's making you laugh? Because I mean, that can be an insight into your character, the things that you think are funny, you know, things that are inappropriate. But anyway, continuing. Another enemy to revelation comes from exaggeration or loudness in what is stated. Careful, quiet speech will favor the receipt of revelation. So not just humor, but just like communication in general. On the other hand, spiritual communication can be enhanced by good health practices, exercise, reasonable amounts of sleep, and good eating habits. Increase our capacity to receive and understand revelation. Now, would you have ever put that together? I guess it makes sense. Like we think about the word of wisdom and we think about taking care of our bodies, but would you have ever put together being healthy with receiving more or maybe more quality revelation? Well, that's what he's saying. Okay, continuing. We live for an appointed lifespan. However, we can improve both the quality of our service and our well-being by making careful, appropriate choices. It is important that our daily activities do not distract us from listening to the Spirit. Revelation. Okay, now here we go. Here's the nighttime portion of it. Revelation can also be given in a dream when there is an almost imperceptible transition from sleep to wakefulness. So he's like specifying not just like once you are asleep and dreaming, but the transition period. That is such an interesting and unique thing for an apostle to say. I don't know if anybody else has like touched on this specific concept, but as far as I know, this is the only time. And I think that there's something to that. I believe him. I do. Revelation can also be given in a dream when there is an almost imperceptible, sorry about the siren in the background, it's noon, it happens every day, it's a test siren. Revelation can also be given in a dream when there is an almost imperceptible transition from sleep to wakefulness. If you strive to capture the content immediately, you can record great detail, but otherwise it fades rapidly. Now, that's interesting because we just saw an example of that, of President Hinckley making this detailed sketch of how the Hong Kong temple building was supposed to be. He woke up, he wrote it down. He wrote it down immediately. And the result is the Hong Kong temple and Manhattan, New York temple and Thailand temple. And I guess probably the Belgium, the Brussels, Belgium temple. Fascinating. And he's saying this to the entire church. So like, imagine what things you might record in detail that have to do with your personal life. There was like, I think it was last year, I was doing a number of videos talking about dreams. And I think it's super important to record dreams. I don't think all of them have meaning necessarily, but dreams are a way to deliver a lot of information in like a compressed package through symbols. It's like, I've used this example before. It's like when you download a large file and it's a zip file and then you extract it. I feel like symbols, they contain a lot of information when you ponder them and you extract the different details of that symbol. And I think that's why dreams are the way that they are, because essentially it's like it can be complex information, but it's compressed. So instead of just like downloading files from heaven that are like word for word, it's in a way that you can easily understand and remember, And it's the same thing with the temple when it comes to symbols. So, okay. Inspired communication in the night is generally accompanied by a sacred feeling for the entire experience. The Lord uses individuals for whom we have great respect to teach us truths in a dream because we trust them and will listen to their counsel. It is the Lord doing the teaching through the Holy Ghost. However, we may in a dream make it both. He may in a dream make it both easier to understand and more likely to touch our hearts by teaching us through someone we love and respect. When it is for the Lord's purposes, he can bring anything to our remembrance. That should not weaken our determination to record impressions of the Spirit. Yeah. So in other words, just because he can help you remember whatever, we need to do our due diligence and record it down. Record down dreams, personal revelation. Inspiration carefully recorded shows God that his communications are sacred to us. Recording will also enhance our ability to recall revelation. Such recording of direction of the Spirit should be protected from loss or intrusion by others. All right. President Hinckley. And then just a few more. Now we're talking about President Nelson. Okay, this is in a YouTube video called My Witness, Sister Wendy Nelson, on the Church News YouTube channel, March 11th, 2019. I am a witness by being present, and I am a witness by being absent, that the Lord indeed instructs his prophet. Sometimes the Lord has me stay close to my husband when he is receiving instructions. My husband will say during the night, "Okay, dear, it's happening." I just remain quiet, and then soon he's sitting up at the side of the bed, writing, now with a lighted pen that someone gave him. The number of nighttime messages to him since becoming president of the church have increased exponentially. It's incredible. Let me pause right here. Again, I feel like this highlights that there's something about nighttime where, I don't know, special revelation can come. Maybe it's just because like everything's quiet, there's no distractions, and it may just be simply that. I don't know. That's the only thing that really comes to mind for me. It may have to do with how our brains work at night, because our bodies are connected to our spirit, and maybe there's some kind of like biological, spiritual process going on that we don't understand that results in like a certain type of revelation. I don't know, but it's being highlighted here. Okay. It was an early Saturday morning, and I could feel I was supposed to get out of bed. I wasn't finished sleeping. I didn't want to get out of bed, but I could feel move out of bed now. So I went down and did some family history research. 2 hours later, my husband emerged from our bedroom and said, "Wendy, you won't believe what's been happening for 2 hours. The Lord has given me detailed instruction about a process I am to follow. Sometimes it's just 2 lines. I never look at it. He'll just hold it up and show me. I just think those are private messages to him, and I would never look." Okay. The next one. This is, what is this? This is Church News, May 19th, 2019. President Nelson urges Samoan members to be strong facing persecution, attacks of the adversary. Written by Tad Walsh. This is Sister Nelson. Sister Winnie Nelson said her husband often receives inspiration for the direction of the church during the night and gets up to take notes. Just this past week, she said, the inspiration was flowing so rapidly that during those early morning hours, the inspiration was flowing so rapidly during those early morning hours that he went to the office in our home and wrote for 3 hours. My gosh, what was he writing? And then President Nelson himself. This is on the church's inspiration blog on the church website, November 20th, 2020. The day that the church published his hashtag Give Thanks social media video. Okay, President Nelson says, "Have you ever had the experience of waking up in the middle of the night, having a distinct thought or impression? Since beginning my ministry as the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I've had my share of unexpected awakenings." Yeah, your wife has told us. Many of these have proven to be special and sacred moments from God. I want to share one such experience related to the special video message that was released today, November 20th, 2020. I just want to point out, notice how he points out the date, because as he's about to say, and we're going to read from Sherry Do, the specific time and day and time of day and the length of the video, it was all like revealed to him. And therefore, the Lord does reveal specific, specific details that seem to have to do with dates and numbers and lengths of time and stuff like that. A few weeks ago, I woke in the middle of the night with the thought that I should offer a prayer of gratitude to God for all of his children around the globe. Thoughts flooded my mind of all the things for which we should be grateful and how expressing that gratitude could become a healing spirit in our lives. As the inspiration came, specific details, including when and how I should share this message, came to my mind and heart. The video message shared today was not one that came by chance. It is one that came from heaven. So, specific details, including when and how I should share the message. So you have to wonder about a lot of the other things that you see, whether it's social media posts or area devotionals or whatever. You just don't know the backstory behind whatever it is. There could be so much more going on than what you realize. Okay, this is Sherry Do, Executive Vice President and Chief Content Officer, Deseret Management Corporation. This was BYU Hawaii devotional. The name of the talk is Prophets Can See Around Corners. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but... Oh, no, actually, maybe I am. Sorry, I thought there was more surrounding this. Okay. 2 years ago, I saw President Russell M. Nelson see something I could not see. On September 17th, 2020, I was among those invited to a communications meeting with President Nelson. The pandemic was raging, and we suggested that President Nelson record a message of hope for church members. He told us to sprinkle a little fertilizer, quote unquote, on that idea and bring it back to him the following week. But then, the very next day, President Nelson asked our group to meet with him again. He told us that our idea wasn't bad, it just wasn't right. During the night, he had received the impression that he should indeed record a message, but a message for the world, not just members. He said his message should be about gratitude and include a prayer for the world. He told us the exact day and time the video should be released and even how long it should be. I'd never heard President Nelson be so specific about communication details, but as he spoke, I knew I was witnessing a prophet act on revelation. We assembled a team of videographers and others to fulfill President Nelson's instructions. If this group had relied on their own expertise, they would never have recommended a video as long as the one President Nelson specified, nor would they have suggested releasing it on a Friday. But a prophet had spoken, and we went to work. The result was the hashtag Give Thanks video released on November 20th, 2020. And the results? Unprecedented. The video's reach dwarfed anything the church had ever released, especially to those not of our faith. Never in the history of the earth had so many people heard a prophet's voice. Prophets see around corners. And they also receive revelation at night. That's what this is all about, this video. So, I don't know, just incredible stuff. So incredible. Okay, that's going to be it for this one. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.